we're going to do something about how you sit back from a front foot to the rear foot. In other words, if you're in a bow stance, 70-30, yeah, and then you go into an empty stance, which could have a little bit of weight on this foot still, toe up maybe, but you have the possibility of lifting this foot off the ground. So it's how you do that. And it happens in so many things, Tai Chi, Qigong, and it's not just shove yourself backwards, but we're going to start off with shove yourself backwards. So your feet are, well, whatever you really want. So we're just going to go into a bow stance. So turn your right foot out slightly here in mirror. Yeah, turn your right foot out, step with the left foot and move into your front stance. Okay, so there are two ways of sitting backwards. The first is, and we're going to work on that first, is that you jam this foot into the ground and you push your body backwards and let the toe come up. Yeah, so you need to do it quite fast. To feel this, you need to do it hard. Push and lift. Yeah, okay, once again. So you push yourself back and you lift. Once more. And the harder you can, faster you can do it, the better, because you'll feel what I'm after. Okay, so when you do that, swap your feet around. This is your right foot forward. When you do that, what actually happens is, obviously you're pushing down into the front foot, literally down into the front foot. So therefore the rest of the body is actually going to lift. So therefore your pelvis becomes for a second lifted before it settles into the back foot. In other words, the pelvis will go lift up and settle back into your back foot. From here, if I push in slow motion, push hard, the pelvis is slightly lifting. Obviously, if I'm pushing down with that foot, it's going to drive it upwards in the opposite angle. So what we need to do is we use the back leg to take ourselves backwards. Now, this instantly involves a tilt of the pelvis. Because when you do that, what happens is, if I'm on the front foot here, and I let this all relax here and allow it to tuck under, I feel a bit of something happening on the front of this thigh now. So go onto your front leg, straighten this leg completely, don't lock it, just straighten it, and then pelvic tilt without sitting backwards. Without sitting back, that's the key thing. So you're here, and you pelvic tilt without sitting backwards, and you can now feel something going on in this leg. So now what you continue to do is to more pelvic tilt and allow the knee to bend. So you really allow your pelvis to tilt and you lift the toe up. So now it's completely different. Instead of pushing ourselves up in an arc, it's almost like pulling your own body backwards with your rear leg. We've worked completely from here and we've drawn ourselves into the rear foot. So when you start at the front, yeah, so we start on the front foot, pelvic tilt, keep your legs straight and feel something happening on your leg. Keep tilting here, keep the pelvis going underneath like this. Then keep tilting even more. Never stop that pelvic tilt until you're on your back foot and the toes up. You're now at your maximum pelvic tilt. Let's swap the other side. You can face the screen down to the feet. I'm doing it so you can see. So here's your pelvis at the moment, side on. In fact, let me just get Oscar here. And ignore Oscar's cranium, which is a real problem. He's got real serious problems with the backs of his head here. Just ignore him there. Here's his pelvis. So you're on your front leg. So here's your pelvis. What you're going to do is, as you sit back, you're going to do that, tuck your bum under, and you can feel something happening in your leg. And then you continue to tuck under so that the front of the pelvis lifts. Okay, so we're after this bit at the front of your pelvis lifting, which is your pubic bone. So we're after that lifting up. Now, obviously you cannot do that and your spine, well, sorry, you can do this, but you should not do this. So this is no good. So I'm here and I tilt my pelvis. Okay, lovely. And then I tilt it more. Look at my back, it's gone. In other words, I didn't relax this bit of my back. So you have to make sure, let me get Oscar's spine approximately correct, ignore the top really. So here's your pubic bone, here's your tummy button, you're going to lift this up towards here, but you must allow this bit here to relax and open. So in effect, this is going to happen when you do a pelvic tilt, and your spine will straighten out. That's what should happen. If it doesn't, you're bringing a whole spine with you at an angle. So again, foot forwards. So do your pelvic tilt. You should feel, you can put a fist here. You should feel a tiny bit of movement here. Now keep tucking under and you should really feel this opening out, so almost like it's leading you backwards. But actually your leg is pulling you backwards. It's the tilt of the pelvis underneath like this, which is bringing you back. So whichever foot forwards you like, and we're just going to do a few of these until you kind of need to embed this a little bit. So get your weight fully forwards, pelvic tilt, more pelvic tilt so you can feel this leg pulling you in. And just go forwards. Pelvic tilt, and you're back. And forwards. Pelvic tilt, no knee bend. Pelvic tilt with a knee bend. And then you've just drawn yourself back and you never stop tucking the pelvis under until you've arrived. And one more. Pelvic tilt, keep tucking under, keep tucking under, keep tucking under, keep tucking under, keep tucking under. You can feel here opening out, and then just change your feet. So when you're on the back foot, you should just be able to lift it off the floor. The front foot should be able to lift that front foot straight off the floor. So we sink, incidentally, that's a pelvic tilt, and you go forwards, straighten your back leg, not locked, pelvic tilt till you feel this pulling a little bit, and then really tuck under. So it feels perhaps like it's put, it depends on how used you are to this kind of movement, and go forwards for the second one, pelvic tilt, and tuck under. And 3, go forwards. Pelvic tilt, that brings you back and tuck under. And 4, forwards. And then all the weight on your back foot, keep tucking under. So this should just be able to lift off the floor and bring it in. Good. So that's how to sit back in Tai Chi and Qigong.